This is a place.
This is the place.
This is a place. We want to talk about. This is a place.
Thank you for listening to This is a Place podcast. My name is Brandon, and I'm here with Nate, who really needs a haircut.
I don't need a haircut. I need them all cut.
Ah, yes.
Yeah, and it's, be honest with you, getting a little annoying.
Really?
So props to the ladies out there who have long hair, and even the guys, because it's just always in your face.
This one goes out to all the ladies with long hair.
All the ladies out there. And the short hair and the medium hair. We've been talking about, so I want to donate my hair to charity.
Locks of Love.
I want to think it's called Wigs for Kids.
Ah.
And they want it to be 10 inches long if you can. I think 8's the minimum. 10 is what they're preferring right now because it's in high demand. So I'm like, I'm pretty close. So I'm probably a few weeks, maybe 3-4 weeks away from being at that 10 inches. So with that being said, we were wondering, being Brandon and I, This is a Place podcast, if anybody has a local barber and or beautician, is that what you call them, that would want us to highlight their location and
Cut your hair.
Cut my hair. And then the second question is, do I go all in and shave my head? Or do I do the Zach Morris haircut that I got last time I donated my hair? That's another story we can talk about on
Or
the
maybe
episode.
Somebody can choose your hairstyle for you.
Well,
You
that's
can run
what
some kind of a giveaway.
That's what I'm thinking of. If somebody wants to choose what I should do to bring sexy back.
I don't know about that.
Well, my, what do you call it? Fabio hair.
Fabio.
Yeah, I took, for the first time this last week, I took a private plane, private jet, what do you want to call it, down to St. George. And with a friend and his kids. But the kid would laugh because you have more turbulence in a smaller plane, right, than you would have on a large commercial. But every time we kind of had turbulence, he would laugh because my hair would just start floating in the air. So that's why I'm like, it's time. It's getting close. So please, if you could reach out to us and say, hey, you should go to this location to cut your hair. And then 2, if you could let us know what style I should do. That'd be great. That'd just be great.
Did you buy any GameStop stock?
No, but should have. Didn't buy Bitcoin. I didn't buy GameStop. Have not bought AMC either.
I have been so obsessed with watching this play out. I gotta tell you, it's been consuming my last couple of days. And I've loved every second of it.
Really?
Yeah. It's really exciting to see, I guess, people sticking it to Wall Street.
The game that's being played right now?
Yeah. And it's so fitting, too. I don't know if you ever really were into going to GameStop, but there's a lot of, they did so much for us in our childhood, all the games we were able to get there. And there's no better stock to do this with. And then there's the other people that are like, screw GameStop. I've lost tons of money taking my $50 game and getting $10 for it. So they're sticking it to them one way or the other. Sticking it to GameStop and to the big hedge fund managers.
Did you ever watch the show King of Queens?
A little bit.
So there's an episode where he gets like it was just on the other day before the whole GameStop thing went on. So that's what it reminds me of. But there's an episode where he gets like a $3,000 bonus that he wasn't expecting, he and his wife. So she convinces him to invest in this stock. And so the whole episode is just him going crazy every day. Like one day he's happy because the stock's up. The next day he's ticked off because it's going down. But I'm sure that's what's going on with a lot of people playing that game right now with GameStop.
Reddit, it's like social media, basically. It's like the Wild West of social media. It's nuts. But the group's called Wall Street Bets, where they've done all this speculation and this manipulating of the stock. But I found this other one called State Street Bets, actually.
State Street?
And they're talking about this one stock that's going to blow up. It's called like TIAP is the acronym. So I don't know, check it out. Apparently the stock's going to blow up.
Yeah, I got to learn that game. I think it'd be fun.
It's the This Is a Place podcast is the acronym. That was a joke.
Oh, that was a joke?
Yeah.
Okay.
Our stock has been significantly up, though, the last couple of days. We had a phenomenal January.
Speaking of stock rising, maybe Reddit users said, hey, you got to check out this podcast, right?
Yes. Yes, they did.
So we had, well, truth be told, our best month ever was when we did
June.
Raging Waters episode, right? Because that got pushed out on a bunch of social media websites. People talking about Raging Waters.
There was lots going on at Raging Waters at the time we did.
Yeah. And, well, then a lot of news stations started. Somehow we just talked about it a week or two before they started doing it on the news outlets. So we had a ton of downloads that month. But we started off 2021 right and broke our record for January. So I think each of our now 11 listeners listened to an episode twice.
Or they listened to one they hadn't listened to before.
Yeah, so or they went back and revisited an episode, their favorite episode. So we had like 20 downloads last month. It was pretty wild.
Man, I bet people listen to this like, these guys suck. Why are they even doing this still? Maybe the listeners are like, oh yeah, keep going. But they hear us talk about our 10 listeners like, why are they wasting their time?
Or well, look at that. Now they're like, they felt special because they were one of 10. They're like, if I'm listening, I got to be one of the 10.
True.
And now you just devalued their stock, and This Is a Place.
Yeah.
Thanks, Brandon.
Great.
So thanks everyone for listening in January, and hopefully maybe February, shorter month, but it'd be hard to top, but we'll see what happens.
I think that what we should do, in light of it being our best month again, maybe we should try doing another Raging Waters episode to see if that'll start February off right.
That's true.
So what do you think?
Let's do it.
Okay.
Raging Waters.
Yeah. Raging Waters Part 2. This isn't completely random because they did recently release a report on what their proposals are for the site. Because, back in June when we did our episode on it and everyone was talking about it, it's because a bunch of people were getting hurt. They're really realizing how big of a liability it is to have this space. There's been fires, vandalism, kids going in and causing problems. So they need to do something about it. So back in October, I believe it was October 31st, I don't know how we didn't get involved in this, so we couldn't go to this meeting and put our own 2 cents in. But end of October, they had a Glendale Community Council meeting where they set up in the parking lot all these different visuals, and they got the community council and the residents' input on what they should do with this location. And they came up with 5 proposals, and there's a whole 16-page report you can read, but Nate and I, we did the work and read it, so you don't have to, and we're just going to go through this information, let you know all about it.
We're going to do the Cliff Notes for you.
Yeah. Fox 13 also did the Cliff Notes, but just listen to our Cliff Notes instead.
Well, I was going to say, so it's interesting how we did the Raging Waters episode, and Fox 13, I think, did a news story like a week or 2 later. But this time, we're jumping on their bandwagon, and they did the story first, and we're going to talk about it.
We're piggybacking off of them.
So,
well, a quick rundown, if you missed our Raging Waters episode or don't know what the heck Raging Waters is, It started in 1979 as Wild Wave in Glendale, eventually becoming Raging Waters, and then shortly after, before closing, Seven Peaks for a time, and it officially closed in 2018. Somebody stepped in to take over, and then it was too expensive and never came to fruition. So here we sit now.
And because of that, then the city had to step in and take over.
Yeah,
so
now the city owns it.
The city owns it.
Because of the city owning it, they wanted to get people's input. A lot of people are concerned with, great, now they're just going to go put in high-density housing.
There is a lack of housing, though, so it wouldn't be the worst idea.
Well, it's Mr. Realtor.
Realtor. I'm not a realtor. I'm a realtor. In Utah, it might be a realtor.
A realtor. But people don't want that, especially for a site like this, because it's been there for so long, since 1979, and they want it to be something for the community. And the reason why they did this and wanted to reach out to people for their proposals for it is to reinforce that they're not going to just do the easy, biggest money-making opportunity, right?
Right.
They want to keep it community-based and something that everybody can enjoy.
And I think also to let everybody know that they're trying to do something, right? And they're not going to let it continue to be the eyesore that it is today. So they basically have five scenarios. Should we go through each one? And
there's the first one and the fifth one are the two most extreme ones that would cost the most money and be the most drastic change.
Which means highly unlikely they'll do.
Right. And from the consensus from everybody is that they also did not want these options because it was not going to be the best. The first one is that it would be remain a water park. So they would restore and rebuild the site, estimated at a $20 million or more cost. Always is more, so you just gotta
especially today,
expect that. But it would take tons and tons of time and tons of effort to get there. Hence why it's probably not the best option.
Which is crazy. It's just hard to think. It feels like we were just there, like swimming there, like with my kids and stuff like that. So it's crazy to think that it's gone down that much to where it would take $20 million to bring it back to operating levels.
Yeah, I mean, even just the landscaping that they'd have to do. But there's leaks in the pools.
Maybe they incorporate the graffiti and everything in there as part of the theme for the new park.
The fifth one, skipping ahead since it's the most extreme, is to make this like a Sugar House Park or a Liberty Park. There's a golf course on the west side of it.
Well, the south side.
Oh, the south side, yeah. And kind of a park on the other side as well. I don't know.
No, so the park, the tennis courts and stuff like that?
Yeah.
That's on the west side.
Oh, the west side.
And the golf course is on the south side. Like you could, when you went up the slide, you could see the golfers and you could yell stuff at them.
That's what you did.
And then if you were golfing, you could turn and try to hit the people with your practice balls to see. Anyways.
So completely changing that into a regional park, adding all that space together into one park would be really drastic and a lot of money. And also, nobody really seemed like they wanted that because we already have Sugar House and Liberty Park. Why do we need just another?
And there's literally a park across the street.
Yeah.
There's a field and a playground and stuff like that. So it's not as nice as Sugar House or anything like that. But you already got somewhere to go stretch your legs.
And if you just go north a little bit, you have a nice park.
Peace Gardens.
There's plenty of parks. We don't need just another park is the general consensus. So likely that those two will not happen.
Right.
So the second option is a water feature in an open space. With that would be a splash pad or a public pool or some kind of other water feature mixed with a green open space for public use.
So you mentioned water feature. Does that include a
waterfall? Yes, of course.
And then TLC can come do the opening ceremony?
Yeah.
Yeah? Think about it.
There's a good chance that they're going to have some sort of water feature because out of all of these proposals, the three still have some kind of water. And then you've got the Jordan River right next to it as well.
Right.
Which is part of the plan for when we get to the fourth one. And a little bit of the third one. So the third scenario is a water feature and community space. The water feature the same as the first option, but then they would have a nostalgia related public art installation. So what that tells me is maybe they would do something to preserve what was there before with Raging Waters and Wild Wave in a way to preserve what once was in some kind of art form, which I think would be cool. One other proposal along those same lines was having like basically a model of what the layout of the water park was, and that would be a cool thing to see how it was in its heyday.
So when we're taking our grandkids to that park and we say, back in my day,
yeah,
water slide.
Exactly. People love nostalgia, so.
Oh, especially now more than ever, right?
Yeah, everything's nostalgic now. We can't do anything.
All the movies are going back to the 80s all of a sudden, right?
Yeah.
I think even the new Thor they're talking about is going to be 80s looking.
Ooh, I like the sound of that.
Know. At least the headline. I don't ever read past the headlines.
But along with that third option, they would have like a food court section, a food truck food court, and then a water sports rental area so you could do stuff along with the Jordan River and maybe like, I don't know, kayaks or canoes or something to go into the clean Jordan River.
Just dip your water bottle in, fill it up, and...
It still would be fun. It's not the cleanest river, but it would still be fun to have something like that. And for the fourth option, it still would have that water feature, but then they'd have more stuff like basketball courts, pickleball courts, walking and running trails, playgrounds for ADA accessibility, and maybe some sort of public art center as well. A lot of what... I mean... I joked about it earlier, but people in this area do a lot of graffiti, and it would be nice to have this dedicated section in this park that they propose to have just for graffiti. Like, you'll go do your thing.
Go practice your graffiti legally, right?
Yeah. It's a dedicated space for that. And so that would be cool, too. I think there's parts from all of these that could be... There's some good from all of it, right? That could come out of it.
Yeah. I mean, the one I would want the most is the one that's going to cost the most, and to just turn it back into Raging Waters.
Yeah.
That would be the best. Especially if they were spending that type of money, you'd think that everything would be updated, right? It would be back the way it was in its heyday.
Like what they've got down in Provo, which is pretty cool.
Yeah, and the
Splash Summit.
Yeah, they're actually, I think, putting some money into that one and updating it and making it a little more appealing, I guess you could say.
Yeah, some other things that people had mentioned. So you can go through and it has these public comments. There's 12 of them from... There wasn't a lot of people at this, so it would have been cool if we could have made it and given our own proposals. But everybody wrote out a paragraph, some people more than others, just what exactly they would want to see. And a lot of it saying things such as what they have at like Liberty Park and Sugar House Park with some dedicated Utah art sections highlighting the national parks we have here. Some way to incorporate what they do there and ways to also educate and talk about things in the area that are applicable. Just really make it a community space. And a lot of people still want some sort of outdoor pool, small-scale water park as well to preserve what once was there. And even though it's going to be expensive to redo stuff, there's already that infrastructure in place, so it won't be as much work to have some sort of water feature because they've already got all the mechanics of it.
Right. Plumbing's already there, right?
Yeah. It's going to cost more to rip it all out and turn it into something completely different.
Yeah.
What do you think, though? Like, if you were to make your proposal, what would you want to see? You said, of course, a water park, but, I mean, they asked, if money wasn't even an option, what would you want to see here?
Well, that's what I would say, and I think turning it back into a water park would be fun for the nostalgic aspect of it, but some sort of, well, and I also like the pickleball idea.
I figured you like that.
We could build like a huge pickleball, what would you call it, venue, and they could host like tons of national tournaments there. But I know a couple people on that report you were reading. I guess a lot of the skate parks in Salt Lake City are pretty crowded, so making a big skate park would be ideal, even though it's not something I really do anymore. But it's for the kids, you know.
Well, even that, with a skate park, they've already got, you know, the pools, like, go in and just use that.
Yeah, like from back in the day when people used to skateboard swimming pools and stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
But I think they should make a mini Disneyland right there.
Yeah, why not?
So give us Utahns a little taste of Disney that we can go here locally.
This isn't Disney. I think it's in the Universal realm, but I get some real Scooby-Doo vibes from this place.
Ooh.
Like, there would totally be a deranged old water park owner trying to spook kids.
A year-round, like, almost, what do they call those rooms? Escape room / haunted house.
Yeah.
Type adventure.
And just theme it to, Scooby-Doo.
Scooby-Doo! Who, me?
I'm sure the big slides that we've always seen and loved, those puppies are coming down at the end of the day.
Yeah, that will be a sad day.
But what are they going to do with them?
Ooh, can you purchase them and put in your backyard?
In your backyard? I had a friend when I was growing up, and he told me he was building a water park in his backyard. And I still believed him for probably quite a few years. And I'd always ask him, it seemed like, hey, how's your water park coming? I helped him cut some wood one day. I don't know. Maybe I have to go check, see if it ever got built.
A water park in his backyard.
So maybe that dream that he had can become a reality. He can just go in and purchase these old slides and build his own water park. I better reach out to him.
But I would like to have maybe the lazy river around my house.
Man, I think if they could keep anything, that wave pool.
In the wave pool.
Yeah.
You know what? That's probably not a bad idea. If
Just
you're gonna
keep the wave pool?
If you're going to have a swimming pool, it's a swimming pool when the waves aren't going, right? And then you have the wave aspect. So I
bet it's expensive, though.
To keep that thing running.
Yeah.
It's
Lazy River would probably... There's not as much maintenance, but to be able to produce the waves, I bet it's costly.
So that would be cool to have like a lazy river going around the wave pool, so you get both aspects.
Yeah.
And then, I don't know. I like swimming pools, but it has to have a diving board.
All these ideas we have, I bet it's going to be it's going to be very underwhelming what they end up building.
Right.
Because ain't nobody got the money for this.
Well, the thing is, too, is that Raging Waters was privately owned, right?
Mm-hmm.
So the upkeep was up to them. But now that it's going to be up to the taxpayers,
we're cheap.
Yeah. So I wonder why the proposal wasn't just to sell the land and have somebody else try to maybe do a water park or
I just don't think anyone
theme
would
park
go in and pay that much money for it.
Or like you mentioned,
be cheaper to just build from the ground up.
But like you mentioned too, it'd probably be a developer that would want to build some, homes or something like that, right? So,
yeah. So good on Glendale or Salt Lake, whoever it is that owns it, that they wanted to still preserve something for the community. And it's probably years and years away from when it will actually come to fruition. I look forward to that day when we can go and have part 3 of Raging Waters. And
Raging Waters Part 3. It's kind of like Bill and Ted, right?
Yeah.
We waited forever to get Part 3.
It might be like 5 years down the road. We'll still be doing the podcast, of course.
Absolutely, but...
And even if we're not, we'll come back. We'll come back for Raging Waters Part 3. We can promise you that.
We'll have a...
Reunion
show.
Yeah.
At the park.
Yes.
We'll podcast live.
If podcasts are still a thing in 2027.
2027. Oh.
But let us know what you would do. What is your blue sky proposal for the Raging Waters site? Or do you just really like the ideas that they proposed? One of the 5. But let us know your thoughts, and we will get it up to the head honchos so they can hear your and our opinions.
That's right. Can I change subjects now?
Okay.
Forgot to mention at the beginning of the episode, but it is February, which is Groundhog Day.
I thought you were going to say the month of love.
And the month of love. But first, Groundhog Day.
Is that tomorrow?
So it is, because we're recording this on the 1st.
Yeah.
So tomorrow's Groundhog's Day.
Yesterday is Groundhog's Day.
So do you think, can we, instead of doing the prediction of more winter, can we do a prediction of when COVID is going to end? Normally, like, we're all like, winter needed to end. But I think people would care more about knowing when COVID's going to end over when winter's going to end, right?
So instead of a groundhog coming out, is it going to be a bat that comes out of its cave, whether it sees its shadow or not?
It's going to be a bat out of hell. It's going to be meatloaf. Why is Groundhog Day like the coronavirus?
Why?
Because like the groundhog, if you come out in front of people, you have to be quarantined for 6 weeks.
6 weeks?
If you come in contact with people. Is that what the groundhog does? 6 weeks? I don't know what he does. All right. That was a bad joke. How does the Groundhog Day thing work? Like,
have you ever seen the movie?
Well, I've seen the movie, but
that's how it works.
Oh.
You live the same day for 2 years at least, over and over again.
Did you ever wonder what you would do if that happened?
I've thought way too much about this, in all honesty.
I just remember watching the movie the first time, and I'm like, man, this movie's boring because it's so long. But now it's a classic.
I love it.
I love it now. I can watch it over and over. But
I think I always, when I watch it, my favorite scene is when he's just eating everything. Because that's what I would do. I'm just going to eat it all. It doesn't matter anyway. I'll wake up tomorrow and be like nothing happened. But it would be nice to pick the day that you live over and over again.
The day?
Yeah.
That's true. And the location, right?
Yeah.
Seems like all those movies are tied to a location, right?
Yeah, but it's never really a good day that they pick, like Groundhog Day.
It's not.
Could you pick a worse holiday?
It's not a desired day.
So the way it works is if a groundhog emerging from its burrow on this day sees its shadow due to clear weather, it will retreat to its den and winter will persist for 6 more weeks. But if it does not see its shadow because of cloudiness, spring will arrive earlier. So it's all because of the clouds? We're depending on how it's going to go because of the clouds? Not to mention that this is just one small town in Pennsylvania that's making all these decisions for us.
Yeah.
I still have groundhogs, so I'm going to go out tomorrow morning and I'm going to check, see if the groundhog sees its shadow or not. I guess you don't really have to know if the groundhog's going to see its shadow because you just look and see if there's clouds, right? And we can just make that determination. If there's clouds, he's not going to see his shadow, and spring's going to come early.
Tomorrow it's supposed to be pretty warm, like the warmest day we've had in a long time.
No, that's not good news.
That's not good news. He needs to see his shadow?
He needs to... No, he doesn't want to see his shadow. So if it's cloudy tomorrow and he doesn't see his shadow, then it's better.
I gotcha.
It doesn't make a difference. We're still going to be in COVID. We're still going to be in winter.
Well, this is.
And we're going to be in a drought.
Been the weirdest winter with. I think I've shoveled my walk like kind of once.
I have not even once. I bought salt and I want to go return it.
Did I tell you like 2 years ago I bought off one of my clients, had like one of those big snow blowers. Anyways, but since I've owned it, I've used it really once. And it takes up a lot of real estate in my garage. So
I guarantee the minute you get rid of it,
that's
you're going to have the worst winter.
Yeah, so I'm going to sell it or get rid of it this spring, and then guarantee you next year we'll have to go back and...
So it's not if the groundhog sees its shadow, it's if Nate sees his snowblower in his garage. That's going to determine if we're going to have a long winter.
Yes. If my snowblower's working, then it's no winter.
So give us an update. Go check your snowblower, and we'll let the listeners know the prediction for winter.
And if anybody's looking for a snowblower, give me a call. I'll give you a good deal.
Well, thanks for listening to This Is a Place podcast.
See you next week.